Hey there, flute players. This video is going to show you how to put together your flute, how to hold your flute, how to swab it out, and how to put it back in the case. So first of all, we have our flute case. We're going to set it so that the cymbal is on the right side up on your lap or on the floor. And we are going to unlatch the case and look at the beautiful flute inside the case. There are 3 parts to your flute: the head joint, the body, and the foot joint. The head joint is here, the body is here, your A flat key is going to be that noodly thing coming out, and then your foot joint is here. Please take out your body and notice that there's one side that has a big spot and the other side has a small spot. The big spot is where your head joint goes in. So we're going to pick up our head joint. We're going to hold the head joint and gently twist the flute in. And we're going to put the tone hole in line with the keys. And the head joint should be out of the flute about a ½ inch or about the size of an eraser on a pencil. So this part of a pencil, just the eraser part, not the metal part. Then we're going to hold the top part of our flute to put the foot joint onto the body. And we're going to hold the bottom part of the foot joint and gently twist the foot joint on. We're going to shut our case and set it on the floor. And our flute should look like this, where our tone hole is in line with our keys. You can look down your flute to make sure. And then the rod of the foot joint is also in the center of the keys. To hold your flute, you're going to, I just set my flute down on my lap so that I have a little bit more leverage. Your left hand is going to make a C, and your thumb is going to go on the thumb key, right here. Then this part of your finger is going to touch the flute, and then your first finger goes right here. You skip a key, second finger, skip a key, third finger, and then your pinky is going to end up here. Again, my thumb is on the thumb key. This part of my finger is resting against the flute. My first finger is touching the top of the key, 2, 3, pinky. For my left hand, my thumb goes directly underneath the flute. That's one of my very important holding spots. My pinky goes here, 1, 2, 3. Now these are my home keys. My fingers never move from the home keys. When I'm learning a new note like D, I'm not going to shift my fingers down to play D and then back up for another note. My first finger is always, always, always going to be on this key. My second finger is always, always, always going to be here. Third finger, fourth finger. Same here, my pinky will always be here. First, second, third. So I want you to go ahead and wiggle your thumb on your left hand, wiggle your first finger, wiggle your second finger, third, pinky, first, second, third, pinky. That's my home position. One of the hardest things about learning the flute is finding that home position quickly so that when you're in class or you're in your lesson and your teacher says, hey, let's play the flute, you're not going, ah, how do we do this, okay? So one of the things I want you to do is set your flute on your lap. Show me your hands. Now pick up your flute and find your home keys. Thumb, first finger, second, third, 1, 2, 3, pinky. Set your flute down. Pick your flute up. Thumb, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, pinky. Again, on the top keys, we skip this first key, finger down, skip, finger down, finger down. Okay, one of the very first notes that we learn in my classes is Mi or D. And what it is all of my fingers are down except my first finger, pinky, pinky. Okay. So that is D. My first finger's up, my pinky's up. My thumb is on the long key right here. 1, 2, 3. no pinky. It's really important that we push all the fingers down, that your fingers are covering like this. We don't want to see this, especially when you get a nicer flute like mine. There's holes here. If I learned how to play my flute like this, it's going to be really hard to go to an open hold flute. So I want you to set your flute down. Show me your hands. Find your home keys. And then show me D. Here we go again. Set your flute down. Pick up your flute. Find your home keys. Show me D. Okay, and as promised, there's no playing in this video, bummer. We're going to put our flute away. When we put our flute away, there's a very specific way that it goes into our case. We want to first, I just took out my cleaning rod, and mine still has the cloth attached. When we put away our flute, we take off the foot joint by gently twisting and pulling. Put your foot joint in the case. Make sure that it's in the right spot. If it's turned around the wrong way, it's not going to sit in the case correctly. Now I have my body and my head joint. I'm going to gently take off my head joint from my body, holding the top part because we don't want to mess with any of our rods or keys. I'm setting my body down on my lap, setting my head joint into my case for a moment because I need to get my rod and my swab ready. If you don't have a rod and a swab, you need to make sure that you get one as soon as you can because it's really important for the care and the longevity of your flute that you swab out your flute every single time you play. If you don't, it leaves moisture inside your flute and you can have mold growing and your pads will wear out, which is what closes the keys. So I have my head joint. I just put the cloth on my rod and I covered up the end of my rod. My rod is wooden. A lot of people have metal rods, and we want to make sure that if you have a metal rod especially, you're not scratching up the inside of your flute. So I just cover the rod with my cloth. Then I hold the end of the cloth, I put it into my flute, and I twist. And then while still holding the end of the cloth, I pull it out of my flute. If you don't hold the end of your cloth, it can get stuck in your flute, so we don't want that. Take the rod out, put the head joint in the case. Now for your body, we need to swab out at least the top half of your body. You can swab through the whole flute, but what I do is I go in and then I grab the rod and come out, or the cloth and come out. You can go in and then stick it through. That works too. And then again, we want to make sure that the A flat key is pointing towards you in the case. So when you put your flute into your case, it should look like this. If you have a hard time closing your case for any reason, it's probably because your flute isn't in the case the right way and you need to adjust it. So go ahead and shut the case and make sure that every time you are done playing your flute that you put your flute in the case because that is the safest spot for your flute to be and the least likely that some sort of accident, it bumping, if it's in the case and it gets bumped from my bed to the floor, it's not going to get broken. If it's not in the case and it gets bumped from my bed to the floor, it might cause a problem that would cause it to go to the repair shop. Okay, thanks for practicing with me and I hope that this video was helpful. Bye.